I think that I should warn you that I am not an unworldly man. I have powerful and important friends, even in the police department. I respectfully request that you do not harass me.
Why, sir, I would never do that.
I know, I understand your problem, but you must understand mine. It's a very bizarre situation. We have similar jobs in a way. I wear a uniform, you wear a... I suppose you could call that a uniform. I used to tell my cadets, you know, all the time. Sometimes it's harder to be a slob than to be neat and tidy and clean. It's the wars, you see, the wars. Going nations. When that stops, hang up the uniform. I'll hang up my uniform. I'll go and take care of my backyard. I got some roses. White roses. And I suppose that when people stop abusing each other, you'll hang up your uniform.
This is a first-rate cigar.
You know, you're rather subtle for a man who appears so overt.
Is that good, sir?
It's not too bad at all. It was after dinner. Did my wife also get around to telling you what we had on the menu?
No, sir. But that meeting was very late then, wasn't it, sir? After midnight, probably.
Yes.
And after the call from Mr. Stapleton.
That's correct.
But the meeting wasn't with Mr. Stapleton, was it, sir?
What o'clock do you have?
I beg your pardon?
My timepiece says 10:09 and counting.
Well, I'm sure that your timepiece is correct, sir.
That gives me just under 6 minutes to make my next appointment the other side of town. Now, if I get a speeding ticket, will you take care of it?
Well,
I detest being late. And I also detest having to repeat myself. Now, come on, Lieutenant, don't disappoint me. A man of your obvious intelligence will not have overlooked the fact that I've told you twice already, I believe, that I have never met Mr. Stapleton. Does that cover it?
That covers it, sir. And you know, on the day she disappeared, she received messages, let's see, 11:13 and 11:57. But then, at 12:32, the pager cut off. No more signals. Kaput.
What do you think caused that?
That is a burning question, sir. I think she was dead.
Really?
Yeah, I think she was killed right here at the Houston service.
But what would the killer do with the body?
He would get rid of it. He'd cremate it.
But there was only one cremation that day. That was Chuck Houston's, and I did it.
Yeah, so the killer would have had to have switched the bodies. Switched Chuck Houston with Miss Chandler.
I see. So if he had switched the bodies, that would explain how the pager went kaput.
Yes, sir. It would.
Yes, I see. Well, since there was only one cremation that day and I performed it, that would make me the murderer. Do tell me, do you have any bodies?
No, sir, I don't.
So if you don't have any bodies, you can't prove that there was a switch?
No, sir, I can't.
No bodies, no case?
Mm-hmm. I suppose so.
Yeah, well, that's the tricky thing about burning questions. Once they're burned, they're just ashes. Ashes? Have you gone?
If you have an accusation to make, do it.
No accusation.
In that event, good morning. And, Lieutenant, let me assure you that you are delving into areas over which you have no authority. For the last time, I ask you, don't harass me.
You see, you can't see the window from here. The trees cover it. That's the only place that you can see the window. You have to be standing directly in back of the cannon. Should I go on?
Done a very nice job. You know, I very much wanted to identify that rag immediately. I couldn't get it out. But don't you expect me to be contrite, Lieutenant. It had to be done, and I'd do it again tomorrow.
I've been chasing guys like you for 25 years. Caught every one except you. I hate to lose.
So do I.
You heard the one about the wealthy old lady? She hated her kids, but she loved the dog.
I'm afraid not.
The dog always wore a rhinestone collar. And when the old lady died, the kids couldn't find the money. Disappeared. 8 years later, the dog died. It was cremated. Nothing left except a mound of ashes and a $450,000 pile of diamonds. So that wasn't a rhinestone collar the dog had on. No, sir. No, that was a $450,000 diamond collar.
Fascinating.
You see, sir, diamonds don't burn. But you already know that, sir. That's why you took Dorothea Page's necklace off her dead neck, opened her mouth, and dropped it down her throat. So you could cremate the body the next day and take the diamonds out of the oven and put them in your pocket. Why am I telling you this? Because it makes me feel good.
Oh, you disappoint me, Lieutenant. You are aware that an accusation of that nature requires proof of presence at the scene of the crime?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of that.
Do you have it?
No, sir.
But you do have a dead body with all the indications of suicide and one self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Tell me, was there powder on the gun hand?
Yes, sir, there was.
How did it get there if he didn't shoot himself?
I have no idea.
Then all you have is a load of unsubstantiated circumstantial poppycock.
This is a sketch that we worked up on Steinmetz. Melville says that this is a reasonable facsimile.
Steinmetz. So this is Steinmetz?
You've never seen him before?
No. No, I have never seen him.
If this is not a breach of security, sir, could you tell me how you made contact?
By telephone or through a representative of his?
I see. 'Cause I've checked every Steinmetz in the city, and so far I haven't been able to find anyone who even comes close to this description.
Well, by now, Lieutenant, you should know that no one in our business is ever who he says he is.
Of course. These are copies, sir. One he sent, and the other one was beside the machine waiting to be sent. They're both jokes. He shot himself between jokes.
Jokes?
Jokes.
What jokes?
Good jokes.
Try me.
Well, I don't know, sir. The first one's Jewish and the second one's Irish. I hope they won't offend you.
Maybe the Irish.
Well, then we'll just try the first one. It's in his own handwriting. Susan, what gives? I tried calling you a few times. You fooling around with some gigolo? Well, that's a bit of a joke to start with. Mrs. Staples, she was nuts about him. Anyway, sweetie, we'll talk later. I heard a couple of jokes today. I think you'll like them. The first one's the Flasher story. There was this Jewish lady walking down Beverly Drive, and coming the other way, this Flasher guy in his overcoat. And when he gets up to her, he whips open the coat. She looks at him and says, "You call that a lining?" Ha!
Just one more thing.